Leon, you were a nice surprise. 10 tickets. I am not complaining. I thought I was going to have to skip you. But 10 tickets, I'll take it. Leon is a character that has always been the worst timing ever for me. I'm either broke or there's something else on the horizon that I want a lot more, so I can't really invest. Or another problem I had in the past was ingots. I've had this guy's EX forever, and it's just been sitting there for so long. But now, we finally get to use Leon, and he did not disappoint. He's really here for two reasons. One, the synergy stats for everybody is really helpful, and two, that orb in Wave 2, Leon trivializes. So that's nice. Turns out though, if you are a person who is lucky enough to have the Titus burst, you don't even need to worry about that orb in the second wave. I've talked to a few people that are like, yeah, I just spam through it. I just saved my burst and summon for the second wave. I didn't bring any damage reduction. I just powered through it. And yeah, I would do that too if I could, but alas, no Titus PT for me. So we gotta improvise. And this worked out. It actually, I'm not even gonna lie, this was not a one and done thing. It actually took me a little while to figure out the right combination of characters, the right combination of calls to get this done with 2 parties. Because I was not about to post a 3-party clear. I've tasted the 2-party clear goodness, and I can never go back for boss rush. It's 2 parties or nothing. 2 parties or I restart. That's just where I'm at. That's the challenge I put on myself. We're gonna do this in 2 parties. So this is the first one. This first orb is consecutive turns. It's almost like they just gave us that orb, because they did when they gave us Titus. They're giving it to us again because this is still Titus season. But Terra works too. Thank God for early Terra blue armor. I'm very happy about that. Putting in serious work here. It is cool that they gave Leon traps. They tend to do that for boss rush. You guys notice that? It's like they release new off-turn damage units right around boss rush, because off-turn damage units are amazing for boss rush. So I figured we'd bring 2 with Yang and Leon. So now I think we can spam for a while. We kind of have to offset that orb, but we'll let him get a couple turns here and there. It's not like we have Leon's EX buff up, but we don't need it because Yang is here, meaning they can't break us anyways. So life is good. I opted for Ifrit just to up the attack a little bit. I wanted to go with Odin, but I saved Odin for later because one of those orbs, especially that last orb with those tigers, I figured Odin would help me with the brave damage. It kind of didn't. Kind of got to a point where I had to rely on Mr. Core with the rainbows. I was actually talking to Theologica, and he said something like, man, I wonder how this boss rush is going to be now that we don't have access to Setzer's LD. And I was kind of like, I don't think it's going to be that bad. Probably some trial and error. And yeah, it was, but there are some comps that can do it without Setzer. There's actually plenty of comps that can do it without Setzer. But Setzer definitely would have made that shit a hell of a lot easier, not going to lie. That orb in the last wave is, I don't remember the exact number, but for lack of a better word, you have to do like capped brave damage. And Setzer's rainbows just kind of makes everybody do that. So you don't really need to worry about the orb at all. Plus, he could just freeze them. So if they run in and attack you, they can't do anything. That would have been amazing. Believe it or not, actually Jack is really good for this boss rush. He is synergy after all. I know there's going to be plenty of people pulling on this banner, and it's not even for Leon. It's because they missed Jack. You're going to have people pulling just to get Jack. And honestly, I say that's a great investment. Go for it. Get Jack. Don't let him slip through your fingers. However, for this stage, I do think he's better on the team than he is as a call. I would never say that, but for this stage I think that's the case, simply because it's 4 waves, and the Jack call is really only good for 1 wave. The calls I brought for both teams are calls that you can apply twice. I figured we would just summon here because I'm also doing something else that I never do, and that's have Terra's LD rotation going while we're in the summon, but I figured this is how we're going to get the most damage off and preserve Yang's follow-up attacks for as long as possible, because in the next wave, they gotta take turns. So I would rather they get hit with kicks and Leon traps rather than just Leon traps. So Terra, you can have the summon to just kill them. Other good characters for this boss rush. I'm thinking mainly for the last wave. I'm seeing a decent amount of blue Stragos, which makes perfect sense. The last 2 waves were 3 targets, and anything 3 targets, Strago's gonna just blow them up. So he's a great pick. I haven't seen any Squall, but I think blue Strago would be better than Squall. But I'm sure somebody out there will pull off the Squall thing. I mean, it is 3 targets. Squall's really good against 3 targets, so that could work. There's lots of core to be expected, especially without Setzer. There's going to be tons of core. Some people brought them early, some people brought them late. I opted to bring them late. Worked out better for me. I'm seeing some Cloud of Darkness. Even though there's no delay orbs for any of this stuff, but Cloud of Darkness is still a great option, just for more off-turn damage. And for that 3rd wave, there's no orb at all. There's 3 Cat Bats, but there's no orb at all. So really you can just delay them and keep them off of you if need be. Unless you have a setup that can just, you know, perfectly tank what they have coming at you, then I guess you don't really need to do that. Warrior of Light is awesome too, especially for this wave, because like I said, this orb is to take reduce brave damage via a buff. It's basically the same orb that we got when we got Hope for Boss Rush. Remember that I think it was Boss Rush number 2. That last wave was those 2 mechanical birds or whatever. It's the same orb that they gave us when they were still in Hope. This time they're doing it for Leon, because Leon just absorbs their attacks. So that's helpful. Don't have to worry much about damage, although we did come pretty close to the HP requirement just because I started running out of time and I couldn't heal Terra up in time. But yeah, because she got, okay, I'm already giving it away, but she got hit towards the end of the counter here, and there was nothing I could do about it. But it was just under the requirement, so I had to make sure that the next team didn't take any HP at all. That was very, very important. Otherwise, it would have been a fail. Have I mentioned that I love Blue Armor Terra? Because I love Blue Armor Terra. She's a treasure. She's beautiful. She's perfect. Look at that. Capping. Not a problem. She's the best. Best investment I've ever made. I said that already. I'll say it again. Best investment I have ever made is Terra. And this Cypher Call is proving to be, I want to say investment, but I got it for free. Best surprise ever, I'd say. I didn't think I'd use it as much as I've been using it lately, but we are in an era where defense down is more important than it's ever been, if you ask me. Not just brave damage up, but defense down in particular has been really helpful. I don't know if that's just because we're in this Titus cycle where, you know, they're going to make debuffs a lot more important because Titus has a ton of debuffs. But I imagine that defense down is here to stay. I mean, bosses are only going to get stronger. Lufenia Plus is coming. Another one is the Ferris Call. I remember when that first came out, and I saw a lot of people were using it early on, like when we first got it. And I'm not going to lie, I did not think Ferris Call was good early on. Not to say it couldn't be used or whatever, and with the right comps it was great, but I wasn't a fan of it at the time because it took up 5 slots when we only had 6. Now that we have the 8 debuff slots, there's a little bit more wiggle room for that Ferris Call, and I just think that the fights that we're getting now are much more appropriate to use it rather than the fights that we were getting when she first came out. But that's just me. Okay, we got 15 actions. I think we spammed out, I think we used all of Terra's LDs. And we're gonna rely simply, no, we got one left. Okay, so we should spam now, so Yang can keep following up, and then when that's over, we're going to rely strictly on off-turn damage, because that Leon trap drop. Wow. That Leon trap heals too, which we're gonna need. Leon's skill 2 also heals. So that's another option we have. But again, we only have 13 actions to make sure she's healed up enough. And they're going for her again, which isn't good. So we gotta play our cards right here. So far, I would say this team has put in great work, but it's still going to be a bit of an uphill battle for the next team. 11 actions to take them down as much as possible and stay alive. I do not like that the HP requirement is only 5,000. I think that's kind of bogus, but is what it is. Get them kicks. Beautiful. We gotta reapply this. It's about to fall off, especially since they're about to get more turns. I want them to get kicked in the face. It has to happen. Nothing. You get kicked. We heal up. Awesome. Might as well reapply this because we can. I want to use Leon more. I really do. I want to use him in because I think this is a weird comp for Leon, like Terra Yang and Leon. I normally wouldn't recommend this team, but given the fact that we had these orbs coming at us, it seemed to just make sense, at least for what I have available, to pair them together. But in general, in your standard Lufinia stage, I would never pair Leon with Terra and Yang, ever. Because Leon's damage comes from them taking turns. He's a trap character. And with Terra and Yang, they take all the turns. So a little odd. I would rather pair Leon up with somebody like Trey. I think would be awesome. I think that'd be really cool. Even Core would be great. And then a burst, maybe somebody to just amp everybody up, like say like a Bartz or a Paladin Cecil. That's kind of what I'm thinking. As far as Leon teams. I haven't tested that. I haven't tested that out yet though. That's just a thought that I had. But yeah, in general, this would not be my typical Leon comp. But again, Boss Rush has multiple different orbs coming at you. You have to make weird teams sometimes, especially if you're going for two-party clear. Sometimes you got to make weird teams that you wouldn't otherwise make just to get it done. So that's what we did. Okay, she's got full health. We got 4 actions, but there's 2 attacks coming at her, one of them being a recast. If I had a call that overhealed, that would have been really helpful, but I didn't bring that. The only healing we have is Leon. Yeah, see, the fact that he gets battery beforehand is such a drag. Heal up just a little bit. They want to hit her again, too. Like I said, this is weird timing. And there's not much I can do about it, unfortunately. So I think you see me stop and check. Okay, so this one's fine. This isn't going to do anything. Not worried about that. But it's that recast, because he batteries before he does that. So that will be some damage. Yeah, see? And that's over the count. So how much did we heal? You see that? We're like less than 600 HP away from missing the HP requirement. That's cutting it close right there. But whatever works. All in all, despite that, this team did very well. And it's time to move on. There we go. I should have given Titus his high armor. But turns out we didn't need to. It definitely would have made my life easier doing all this. But we got the job done. Most important thing now, though, is they have to die, because there is nothing on this team that I have prepared to deal with this orb. So our only option right now is to burst and kill them. So that's what we're gonna do. We link up with Bart's, of course, because he's gonna go in the burst. For now, we link up with Bart's. When we're out of there, you know we're linking up with Titus. That would just make the most sense. So the plan with this one is, it actually worked out that I'm bringing Bart's, because it's like, okay, we have to burst early because those orbs are going to kill us. And since we're bursting early, that means we will have very early access to the Bart's burst effect. So you know what the plan is. We're going to Titus and core spam with the Bart's burst effect up, and it's going to be nice. I'm pretty sure the Bart's burst, I think we have that up for... I don't know if it's the entire duration of this fight, but it's pretty damn close. Because I just spammed so much. Especially against those cat bats, because you let them take too many turns, they'll hurt you. And we cannot get hurt at all. Like I said, with Terra getting hit, we can't afford to take any damage whatsoever. So that means they gotta die. With the slice and dice. Alright. Not 2, but 3 cat bats. Let's go. Okay, we need to... I don't want to spam right now because I want Titus linked up with core first. So that's perfect that he gets turn right in front of Bart's there. I couldn't have asked for anything better. Actually, I could have. The only thing I could have asked better was if Bart's burst effect was at 3 stacks, which it is not yet, but it will be soon enough. However, I think we'll still be doing enough damage, even without it. We can try to spam a little bit. In fact, I think we have to. Get these breaks, get off of us. Let's extend this. Because I want to loop back into another jet shot as soon as possible. That would be glorious. I know that quick hit is free turns, but... What's that called? Is it called slash attack? As you can tell, I've barely played Titus at all. What the hell is it called? Slash combo. Oh my god. I have not pretended to be a Titus fan, okay? In fact, I've been very vocally the exact opposite. I'm probably never going to use him again after this stage. At least I hope not. I really don't want to. But he was way too effective for this. Especially if we're going for 2 party clears. Even without the burst, he's good for it. With it, he's just stupidly overpowered for it. But without it, he can get it done. Okay. I believe that's 3 stacks. Sure is. This is nice too, getting all these counters here with core. That's very cool. Okay, that one right there. Okay, actually both of them with those all attacks. We can't let him do that. So let's refresh this link up with Titus. And it's perfect because Titus is going to break them all. Yeah, they can't attack anymore. They got to just die. We have no choice. But I don't want to use my summon yet. I could have, but I wanted to save all that juice for the tigers. There you go. Get back. And it's still my turn. Let's just keep the spamming going. Yeah, see, having that high armor definitely would be hitting harder. Because he's capping at 9s, but didn't need it. And I'm definitely not going to buy it. Now, his cycle's over. I'm not buying his high armor now. I ain't pulling for his burst at this point. All his stuff is done. Okay, they're almost dead. We can break it back again. We have EX. But I don't want to use it yet. I want to keep spamming. See, we still have five turns of that Bart's burst effect. So we got plenty of juice in that regard, which is great. So that means we can go into the the last wave with that still intact. And we still have the other Fujin call to get some enchant up, help out with some damage output in the last wave. With 22 actions to spare and a summon, so we're in very good shape for these tigers. Very good shape. I've heard people say, yeah, because the last time I remember seeing these things was the dreaded Kirin Lost chapter. That one was 2 waves, and this was the first wave. A lot of people said that these tigers were quote-unquote the real boss of that stage. I'd say that's debatable, but I get the point. Because the bears are bad enough, really, but they're made infinitely worse by the fact that you got to deal with these assholes before you deal with them. So that being said, I think that they were worthy of a final wave spot that they got here. So now what we're doing is attempting to stack as much damage amping as possible. So Core is dealing with that orb right now without even needing to access his rainbow numbers. But it's not going to stay that way for long. They get tankier as time goes on. Because they buff, I cannot talk. Wow, they buff themselves. I don't know what that buff is. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me. Because that one in the middle just doesn't seem to be mattering now, but point is, they do get harder to hit that brave damage cap on. Absolutely. Core's rainbows don't care, but Setra's rainbows would have been so much better because then everybody could do it. So you definitely have to like think a little bit more and time stuff a little bit more now that Setra's not an option. 14 actions. Honestly, I probably could have summoned a lot earlier and got this done in less turns, but who cares? I wasn't as concerned with the turns as much as I was just getting it done with 2 teams. So it does get to a point where we really can just continue to spam. And that Bart's burst effect is still up for 3 more turns. We gotta get, yeah, let's get this up. Might as well enchant ourselves. So we have elemental weakness. Along with everything else we're doing, we're in good shape. The Barts cannot hit the Brave Cap. That's no good. Titus isn't hitting it either. Actually, right now, no one is. So we need rainbows. And this is when I realize how much juice Core still has. Yeah, he can just... Yeah, I know this is adding turns to the count, but who cares? We still got 6 actions left and a summon. I should not have targeted this one. This is a waste of launch. Don't look, this was such a mistake. Oh my goodness. Shouldn't have done that. And now I'm realizing, oh wait a minute, everybody can get launched? What the hell are we waiting for? And yet I'm still spamming shit. Just go in and kill him. Just go in and kill him. What are you waiting for? There we go. Everybody's good on Brave. So yeah, I was right. That Bart's burst effect stayed up for the entire fight because of all the spamming we did. So that's one way to get this done, I guess. 1. Oh yeah, they're dead. I could have summoned so much earlier. But this works too. And that's 2. Alright, Titus. This is your cycle after all. Do the honors. So that's boss rush 5. Are we on 5? Yeah, that's 5. Alright, 2 parties for boss rush 5. That HP requirement though, damn, that was close. But we pulled through. Very curious as to who you guys ran for all this. Definitely interesting, especially without the use of Setzer. So I want to see how you guys got it done. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.